What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 5 of the IGN Arena MOBA and Competitive Gaming Podcast. I'm Leah B. Jackson, and today I'm joined by Mitch Dyer.
Hello.
Brian Albert is back.
What's up, everyone?
And joining us for the first time is Josh Miller, our intern. He is filling in for James Faulkner.
Glad to be here. Rest in peace, James.
He'll be back next week.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yes, he's not dead.
Oh.
He's okay. It's okay.
Fun fact, if you close your eyes and just listen to Josh's voice, he sounds like Colin Moriarty.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
It's definitely true.
So Uncharted 3 is a 10 out of 10. Beautiful game.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Pretty good. No, but we're going to talk about some awesome MOBA-related things,
Yes.
topics on the show today. If you love MOBAs, make sure to check out and subscribe to IGN Arena on YouTube at youtube.com/IGN Arena. We have tons of discussions, tips, trailers, all the good stuff that MOBA fans love
Indeed.
on the IGN Arena YouTube, so make sure you check that out.
We have a lot of those now.
Yes.
We have many MOBA fans subscribing to that
We
channel.
do. We actually just passed 7,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So
Turns
thank
out
you
people
very
like
much.
MOBAs.
Huh.
Oh my gosh. Good thing we're doing a podcast about them. We're going to have something to give away to our awesome subscribers at the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that.
Ooh.
But let's just roll right into it because
Hit
we
me.
have a lot of cool
We
stuff
got
to talk
topics.
about
We
today.
got good topics
We
this
got
week.
good topics this week. We have good topics every week, though.
Well,
so,
yeah.
But,
They're especially good this week.
okay, good. I'm glad.
They're
I'm glad you
more
guys are
gooder
excited.
this week.
Good. So let's start off strong with
Yes.
we're going to talk about discovering esports and
Yeah.
how we kind of got into esports. And I want you to sort of start us off.
Yeah,
Mitch.
you bet. So Katie Casarda, who's an IGN designer, and I kicked off the first of what I hope will be many letters on IGN with Courier's Corner. It's our new Dota, mostly Dota, but probably MOBA-centric letter column where we just kind of propose an idea, write a letter to the other person, and then they respond, and that back and forth goes on for as long as it needs to. In our case, Katie and I kind of had like a one-off discussion about esports, and I a year ago kind of looked down on that term. I thought it was dumb. I was like, that's just like electronic sports with cyber athletes. Like it's just.
And I was the type of person like, I hate Mitch.
Yeah, 100%. And like looking back now, it's like I totally know why I thought that way, but where I am now, it's easy to understand. Like with sports in general, you don't really understand what makes them cool or important or special until you actually try to engage with them. So if you're looking at an esport, whether it's Counter-Strike or StarCraft or Dota or League or whatever, if you don't know anything about it, it's very easy to dismiss it as unimportant or not cool or trivializing the idea of a sport or athleticism, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
About whether or not esports players are athletes. And since I started playing Dota last year, when you got me into it in November, I've started slowly encroaching into like more and more esports territory.
Right.
And I realize now, like, as I learn Dota 2 and as I learn League, I'm starting to follow the scene a bit more. And I'm starting to understand, like, man, this is like a really dexterous thing. You need legitimate kind of like athletic skills to understand how to play these games well. And that's made me really start appreciating and falling in love with esports.
Okay.
So now, like, I'm going to the International next month. And last year, a friend of mine went, and I was like, why would you go waste your time watching Dota in a building with a bunch of people playing Dota? Like,
Oh, Mitch.
and now I totally get it. It's
Oh.
like, I cannot stop thinking about, like, competitive side of Dota. Not just playing Dota, but, like, watching people play Dota and analyzing how they're playing, especially pros, like, watching pro matches and going, how does this guy play this character? Has become, like, a recent obsession.
That's cool. I mean, what about you, Brian? Because I know that you also are a big watcher of of esports and Dota. I mean, how did you discover your love of esports?
So we'll go back to the very start, which was
Sure.
actually Halo 2,
Wow.
which it was much less organized then. But it started out with there's on G4, I think it was on X-Play. It might have been called Extended Play at the time. There were like Halo tips from this pro named Tom Taylor.
Yep.
And I was like, I love Halo. This guy is awesome. This is the
Yep.
best.
Yeah.
And then I started sort of following that scene, but it just wasn't as vibrant at the time, even though Halo 2 obviously had awesome multiplayer.
Yeah.
But more recently with Dota, it was maybe a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
And then I was just playing, and I didn't know what I was doing, and then I just would like watch some pro games for a while, and I was like, these people are playing in ways that I never
This is
thought
like
you could
next
possibly play.
level, yeah.
Right, and like I need people who have played this game for years to analyze what's going on, and casters who are telling me what's happening and why a player did a certain thing.
Right.
And once I finally started, like, I can't play at that level obviously, but I can like comprehend it. And once that clicked, like it's just done.
Yeah.
Like I spend hours and hours a week watching pro Dota matches
It's
now.
kind of like, to me, what it sounds like is that you sort of pick up the language. It's like you're learning a new language when you're learning these new MOBAs and sort of this terminology that you uncover as you start listening to the casters and listening to what people are saying and kind of getting into that community. Everything starts opening up and you get more and more excited about what's going on because now you understand it. And like you're saying, just sort of understanding what's going on makes it so much better.
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup is happening right now. And if you aren't soccer literate, it's very difficult to understand why a huge play, like this crazy pass that turns into this crazy play that, like, oh, they were almost offside. Like, to understand the mechanics of it, you really do have to involve yourself. And if you're not doing that, then it's just like you just can't talk about it. Like, don't dismiss something because you don't understand it. And something Katie brought up that I thought was really interesting goes back to what you're saying is, like, I think players are the link. Watching a pro player, having someone to relate to, looking at someone and going, I want to learn from you. Like, Katie talked a lot about Dendy. Dendy's the guy, like, obviously, because he's incredible. And you look at stuff like the International 2's, like, the play, that big thing. Like, how did that happen? Let's watch this 1,000 times and see how this pro player perfectly pulled off this unbelievable perfect split-second decision to, like, win this team fight. I don't know. Like, that's really fascinating to me that people are operating on that level and that we can strive to do similar things.
What about you, Josh? How did you get into the esports?
Well, so I guess I'm the odd man out here because as much as I love esports and I love that it's a thing, I have to be, like, it's the same reason I can't watch regular sports. I have to be engaged. I like to play sports, but I don't like to watch it. The same thing with esports. Like, I love to play MOBAs, Dota 2, League of Legends, could play it all day. When it comes to watching a match, I'll watch one and be like, all right, yeah, that one play, that was cool, but I'm going to go play a game now.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, maybe I'm not learning as a result. Like, I learn by playing, but there's probably so much more I could learn by watching other players.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing out on that, but that's just not how I learn as an individual.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it's like a year ago when I was the dismissive guy, like, I don't care about this. If I watched a Dota match, like James, who is not here today, showed me the video of the play. And I'm like, I don't understand why all these people are yelling. I don't understand the visuals of what's happening on screen. And it is what you're talking about. It is a literacy problem. You do have to learn. And if you don't take the time to do it, then, I don't know, I feel like you're not necessarily justified in dismissing it. You have to try to understand something to be able to understand why it's flawed enough to be dismissive about it. And that's a problem, I think, in gaming culture in general. And as esports starts taking off, and maybe this is just because I'm starting to get into it, I feel like it's becoming more part of the norm. Slowly, esports is creeping into more and more facets of games, and people are starting to fall in love with it and understand it and want to be part of it.
And also, like, more and more facets of everyday life, like, outside of this small MOBA sort of group of people who love it. Like, this week, the Robert Morris University added League of Legends as a collegiate athletic, like, to their athletics program, to their varsity athletics program. They're giving away $40,000 scholarships to people who are really good at League of Legends. So, I mean, that's going to be another way that people are going to be able to discover esports going into the future. Just kind of like, now it's on a college level, and there's going to be collegiate teams that are playing against one another, hopefully. Like, that's crazy.
And that's going to, like, make so many parents just get it all of a sudden, right? Like, oh my God, my kid is, like, in college because of this game he spent hundreds of hours playing.
Money talks. Like, I don't have to, my kid doesn't have to take out loans because he can play League.
I don't have to pay for college because of League. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
It is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, another huge tournament that is going to be coming up really soon that sort of will involve tons and tons of people is going to be the International 4
I've heard
2014.
Of that.
So, yes, let's talk about this now because TI4 it's on the cusp of hitting a $10 million prize pool.
Right. The community-funded prize pool. People buying compendiums and upgrading the compendiums. Yep.
Buying all the compendium points. Me.
I might have done that a few times.
Okay, so my compendium is pretty low level. I don't think I even unlocked Lieutenant Squawkins yet. I'm real low compendium level.
What are you doing?
Yeah, seriously. But I know that you guys are sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. So what level? Do you even know what level your compendiums are at right now?
Mine's like 66.
It's like 110.
Oh my God. How much have you spent
on the compendium? Did you get a compendium yet?
I'm one of those guys that's like, if the game is free to play, I'm going to play it for free.
Yeah.
I won't spend any money.
That is exactly how I am too. I like to go the free route. I don't buy that many things in Dota. I definitely don't.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. What are you talking
Anyway,
about?
nothing. Don't worry about it.
Looks otherwise.
Don't worry
I
about
know. Maybe I get a courier
I
every
probably
so
spent
often.
$40 on it.
On Dota?
No.
Oh, on the compendium. I was like, no way. Yeah.
But I mean,
go
go
for
ahead.
it. No.
I
I was just
mean-
going to say I probably spent like $500 on Dota.
Oh my
oh
god.
my gosh.
Okay.
I know that like when the Legion Commander skin came out,
was
you
like buying
That
it.
yeah.
$35
Like, I don't care.
skin.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Oh my
Don't
gosh.
care.
I'll either go the free route or do the workshop place where you can spend like 15 cents
Yeah.
on a courier.
On a $4 item or whatever.
yeah, or something like that. So that's how I kind of do it. But I mean, let's get back to TI4 because
Yes.
that is the most important thing at hand right now. Like I said, it's on the cusp of the $10 million mark.
As we record this, it is at like $9.95 million. Brian's got the exact number. 9.946.
There we go.
There we go.
It's
We're
so
getting there.
close. By the time this podcast releases, it will probably be at 10.
Yeah, which is nuts. But I mean, I wanted to sort of talk about the road to getting
Yeah.
to $10 million from last year even to this year and how things have changed and why it's such a big deal and all that good stuff. So, I mean, last year at the International 2013, Valve introduced the compendium, and it was the first time that, people could participate and buy a $10 item, and $2.50 of that purchase goes directly into the prize pool.
And just to be clear, the compendium is like a digital book that you can access in the client that has
Yeah.
like team info.
Team rosters and
Yeah.
things like that. Yep.
And last year, it didn't have that much interactivity. Like, you could vote for your favorite players to compete in a special match at the event, but that was kind of it. I believe that there was a courier and a HUD that you got along with it, but I mean, other than that, you could only buy one compendium, and then that $250 went into the prize pool, and that was it. This year, it is significantly better.
Yeah.
So
The
tell us about it this year.
The compendium right now is like almost a game in itself. Like at this point, stretch goals have been unlocked as we approach $10 million. There's like a 1v1 mode that's been unlocked for practicing a certain hero. There is a stat tracker so that in the middle of a game you can see how much gold you've earned this game versus your average history with that particular character. And what's the other big one? Oh, the daily hero challenge.
Right.
So every
Yep,
24
you get to
hours you can
roll.
roll a new hero, and you get compendium points for winning with a new hero, a random hero.
Right.
So all of this has just kind of emphasized my interest in Dota in a big bad way. Like, this book has become something I go to. The first thing I do when I open Dota is I go to my compendium, I open it, and I see what the updates are. Can I roll a new hero? Can I vote on new Arcana items? Can I vote on a character remodel?
Or like, what level is your compendium even? Because that is another big addition to this year, is that you can level up your compendium, and you can pay more money to level up your compendium, as we were just
Yes.
kind of talking about.
Which gives you like huge experience bonuses in game.
Yep.
Right.
My battle bonus thing that goes through TI4 is now at 500%. If I play a match that's, I don't know, 40 minutes or so, it's almost like a full level on my account.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some really great bonuses this time around for the compendium, and it has helped the tournament because last year's tournament was 3.2 million, I believe, it was either 2.8 or 3.2 was the
Can't remember
final
exactly right now.
prize
There's
pool
just
last
been so many
year.
numbers
Yeah.
related to Dota recently.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But I mean, this year, so now with people donating all this money to the compendium, it's
Donating. Donating.
well, I would say that people are well, I guess it's
I don't know.
not
It's a
donation.
give and take thing. It's like I don't know. You're getting something out of it directly. But yeah, you are absolutely like pledging to the prize pool in some way.
I mean, so I know that you have your laptop open right now. Tell us what you're looking at.
Give them stats.
Yeah, I mean, so Brian's checking out Cyborg Matt, who's a really awesome member of the Dota 2 community. He made this site that sort of tracks what's like how much money the compendium has made and has these really cool, interesting stats about the road.
Right. It shows from day 0 to day 75, which is the day of the grand finals. And it just shows the prize pool tracker for how much money each compendium has made. And for last year, it's sort of generally like a straight, almost kind of just like
It's
horizontal
a
line.
slow, steady growth
line.
over the 75
And
days.
then for TI4, it's just this huge jump, and then
Yeah.
and then it sort of arcs off. And then when they introduced more stretch goals, it just jumps up again and keeps going. And it's sort of leveled off now as we're approaching 10 million, which is expected.
Right.
But it's absolutely going to hit 10 million. Like
Yeah, and I think
no doubt.
we might look like goofs because Valve might already have added these, but like once they hit 10 million, Valve will presumably add more stretch goals. Hopefully with more secret stretch goals.
Yeah, because we've only had one so far, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's 6.4 million. The techies taunt, which is we
is
sort of knew techies
cool,
were coming anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, people are really excited about techies.
It's just a nice confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of, but I mean, he's not even in game, and we already have a taunt for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I was definitely a little bit underwhelmed by the second set of stretch goals than the first set of stretch goals, especially like now that we can see the after party of TI4. Like, I personally don't care about that at all. I like the stuff like the new game modes and the new effects in game and stuff like that. Josh, what do you think of the TI4?
So I like it because it gives a sense, it gives you a reason to play the game. When I first started playing Dota, it was in beta, and aside from just winning matches and playing to have fun, there wasn't a sense of progression. This gives that sense of progression. You're unlocking things, you're moving along. Like, one of the reasons a lot of people play games like Call of Duty is because you're ranking up. There's a sense of progression.
Yeah.
Exactly. League of Legends, you have you can win.
Your summer level and stuff like that. Yeah.
And you win the, I forget the points because it's fun.
The Riot points.
Yes.
Or not Riot points,
The
but
IP.
the IP. Yeah.
There we go. You get that over time to buy characters, so you don't have to spend money. There's that sense of progression, and when Dota 2 came out, there wasn't that. So
That's a really good point,
like
actually. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. There, other than you leveling up and getting one crappy item every 6 levels.
Thanks for the common shield that I'm gonna sell for a penny.
Right. Like, I'm level 76 and get these common items in Dota, and it's just like,
Right?
thanks.
You're eligible for the most incredible mythical arcana items, and you never get one ever.
Oh man, yeah, not a fan of that at all. I wish that the higher level you get,
I'm
the more
actually
rare
sort of like
things.
of two minds on this though.
Yeah?
Because I really care about like what level I am and what items are in my profile and wins and things like that. But also, I just care more about like when I'm playing the game, like did I do really well and help my team?
Yeah.
Like I care about that more than anything.
Yeah.
Like
separate from the compendium stuff, separate from like any other garbage you get for free, like item drops, whatever. It's like the satisfaction of playing Dota is legit.
Like just yesterday, we played a game last night, and they had a player with over 1,000 wins, and I have 250 wins. So that person's played 4 times as much as I have.
Yeah.
And they had like amazing items, and I was like, this is going to be awful. And we just destroyed that person.
Yeah.
And it's like the best feeling. Like that's what I care about the most when I'm playing this game. Yeah.
Is crushing like good players.
Yeah. Because
any player.
Those profiles can be scary, especially if they have like
be.
Pudge as their main hero.
You love Pudge.
I hate Pudge the most.
And wins don't always translate to player skill. It's like that guy could have been playing for a year longer than you. And just, like,
he might have
sunk
4,000
hours
losses too.
Exactly.
That's true. You can't see losses.
It's true.
So, I mean, I would definitely say that this year's compendium was a great, I wouldn't say addition to the tournament since they did it last year, but the way that they did it this year was fantastic.
Yes.
Definite props to Valve. I think that the community as a whole really embraced the compendium this year. It just really helped the prize pool grow. I know the players obviously love it because someone's going to walk away millionaires now because of this, or a bunch of people are going to walk away really rich after this tournament. But it also gives us something to look forward to too. So good job, Valve, and
good job you.
Good job,
Brian,
you guys,
especially for spending so much money on this compendium.
I mean, I think that Dota is one of the most beautiful MOBAs out there right now, and I think that we're going to move on to talking about other beautiful games or the graphics in other MOBAs.
Sure.
So,
visual aesthetic.
Yes, because they're not all that beautiful.
No, they are not.
I would say, if I had to rank them, Dota 2 would definitely be the prettiest of the ones that are available right now. And then following that up, probably Heroes of the Storm. They have a really similar aesthetic, I would say. But I think that it's tough because with free-to-play games, you're trying to reach a really mass market of people, and some people don't have the best computers to play these games on. So it can be tough sort of balancing really amazing graphics like Dota 2 versus, having a bunch of people play it.
It has to scale well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dota really doesn't. Like, it doesn't run well on my work laptop at all.
On low settings, graphic looks...
anything.
Yes, exactly. That's
but speaking of League has a really amazing graphical update coming to Summoner's Rift.
It looks so good.
It looks beautiful. They really are updating things.
No?
But you don't think so? Okay, awesome. So let's hear what you have to say.
Let's hear it, hater.
A lot of cool model retextures. Like I think the bases, they're making everybody's base look different. I think that's really cool. Like the one side is like squares, and the the other side is like curves, shape-wise, like architecture and everything. What I don't like is that they're kind of making the game less vibrant. They took a lot of color out of the map. Which helps kind of like distinguish your character from the environment.
Yeah,
that's
which is
actually
their
what they
goal.
said.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the side effect is I think the game looks a lot. I don't know.
Duller now.
Yeah, I don't know. I really liked the look before. It was very unique.
Yeah, see, I mean, I agree with you in the sense that it's kind of flatter now that the characters in the environment have like the same visual, just that like shiny, vibrant, colorful effect.
Yep.
But I love I don't agree with you at all in terms of the environment losing color. There are just so many so many more places that have like little flowers that just make that area pop a little more.
Yeah.
There's just a higher level of detail.
The detail is definitely like increased tenfold.
Yeah.
And also the jungle creeps all look really awesome now. They all have their own sort of look to them, whereas before they didn't look all that great, but now they definitely have like visual cues that go with them that I really like. And Baron got an upgrade and that type of thing. And like you were saying, it definitely looks a little bit less colorful, but that makes it so that when you're in a team fight, you can understand what's going on, or that's
which is
the
what
hope.
matters. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we're kind of divided on this. Have you seen the Summoner's Rift update? What do you think?
I have. I first of all need to play more League, but one of the like if you look at like any specific character in League, I'd be like, yeah, that character looks pretty cool. But later when I saw people playing with all their like different outfits and stuff, I was like, these are just like cool art styles that got thrown together somehow that don't mesh.
Yeah, there's like a lot of joke costumes and stuff like that.
Right, like that's the thing. Like in Dota, some costumes you're like, did this change anything at all? But in League, it's like this looks totally different.
Yeah, like the silhouette of the character is different enough that you're like, that character? I don't know.
Right. That just bugged me. Like I just was like, what? Like there are like 10 artist styles being clashed together. But I don't know if that's going to change because this is just like a map update, correct?
Yeah, this one's
it's
just the map, so not the characters. Yeah.
Okay.
But
I mean, it looks really good.
Some of the older characters are getting updated graphics though, so it just is kind of a slow increase.
over time.
But I mean, so what do you guys think about, the graphics versus having a mass appeal kind of subject on it?
So we recently played Infinite Crisis, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this down the line. But
Yes, Infinite Crisis was supposed to be our game of the week, but James wanted to talk about it, and he's not here, so stop saying that.
Sorry. I just worry about him.
He's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, and my thing with Infinite Crisis is, in terms of mass appeal, obviously this is a DC Universe themed MOBA. So, oh man, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Arrow, all these recognizable characters. Joker, like 4 different variations of the Joker, and like Gaslight Batman.
Yeah.
So you have all these different themes and things with this world you know and love. But even with like max settings, that game still looks cheap to me. The animation just doesn't look very good. The colors don't pop. The UI is a mess. The environment just doesn't make any sense to me visually. There's just a lot of things aesthetically about it that I think just don't mesh in a way that is like even more contrasting than League. Because League, you at least have like, oh, he's a fantasy costume, but it's a pirate instead of a ninja outfit or whatever it is, right? Like he's got a funny hat. Whereas this is like, just nothing here seems like it's part of the same thing. I understand DC Universe. I understand MOBAs. Those pieces don't fit at all for me in this instance because of the aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of how Infinite Crisis looks overall. I think the character models are the best looking thing about that game. Like the way that the superheroes' cloaks kind of flutter is really beautiful. But the actual maps themselves and like your health bars, like your HUD is just really not pleasing to the eye, I would say, in that game, which has been out in beta for a really long time. So they've had time to hear this feedback and maybe adjust some things, and they haven't.
There's also just some problems with the animations. Like when the creeps die, they explode, and it just suddenly feels like, it's like they took a 3D character and took a 2D snapshot of it to make a sprite, and then animated that. And it's just like, it feels like an old looking arcade game when something falls to pieces in that game. It just doesn't look right. And when you're looking at something like Infinite Crisis, which is chasing League's coattails, it's trying to be League, but Batman! It's not cool or acceptable to me to have something that looks that cheap or doesn't look quite as good. And you can, obviously, like, they're totally different visual styles, but you can have a game that looks great, and it's also a competent MOBA. But they are just like, it's a competent MOBA that doesn't really do anything for me visually.
So, I'll address this question to you, Josh. Do you think that you need to have good graphics to have a good MOBA? Or Does that not really
You don't
matter?
necessarily have to have good graphics in the sense that they have to be Crysis level, like, oh my god, that looks realistic and amazing. They have to be good in the sense that everything meshes and fits together, and the characters are clear indicators of what they do. Like what League of Legends is doing with the creeps. Oh, that thing looks like a tank. It's probably going to be tanky.
Yeah.
Infinite Crisis, the problem that you have with it is that nothing really meshes. Everything's thrown in there.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a problem, because if you can't tell the difference between that character and that creep, you don't know who to prioritize, who to target.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arena of Fate suffers from that a little bit. I think the game looks great, and it's got like a unified thing, so that's great aesthetically. But overall, it's just kind of like flat. There's nothing interesting about the way it looks. In the same way, League has like those very sharp, colorful lines, black outlines, big, colorful things that pop.
Arena of Fate is very brown in color, I felt like, when I played it. I only played one match of Arena of Fate. We definitely have some impressions going up on ign.com, which you can check out. But I totally agree. Like I would hope Red Riding Hood's cloak or whatever
is like doing something
bright red or something like that, rather than just sort of toned down red. I like those bright colors in games. They appeal to me. It sounds like they appeal to everyone.
Just crank up that saturation.
Yeah, I think so too.
Although that might also be a case of game identity, like that game's identity and tone in general might just be like a darker fairy tale setting.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
If that's the identity they're trying to create for themselves, then I guess I have less of a problem with that.
Yeah, that
than
makes
having
sense.
no identity.
The thing I'm not quite sure about yet is, so to go back to Dota, like if we talk about like, hey, let's talk about Puck. Like I feel like Puck like has a personality. Like I know that hero. Like does that sound weird?
No,
Right?
no,
Like-
it doesn't
I know
sound
you mean.
weird.
But like I don't know if it's just because I spent so much time with it, like that game, or if it's because like these are like well-designed characters with like unique looks that I care about.
I
Like
think
Pudge
it's
is
a little bit
jerk,
of both. Because
right?
you and Pudge. It's so funny.
What were you saying?
I was listening to you.
You were saying something after I was done.
No, I was listening to you talk about
Oh my God.
Puck and Pudge and how, these characters have personality. And we talked about this in the past, how, when you first get into MOBAs, you don't really know the personality of these characters. But as you play hundreds of games with them, you really start to like the characters and the things they say and the dumb things they say especially.
Oh my God.
You fall in love with that. And that's something that it does have to do with the graphics too, because it's like when Puck pops out, for example, and he's like, "See ya," he's just like, it's funny. I like that. I like that puff that he makes, and it's cool. And I think that that's important to have those sort of iconic things, or like Ravage with Tidehunter is such an iconic like visual.
Yeah.
Ultimate is so cool. So I think that it's graphics are important to tell a story, like what you're saying. And I think that some games are doing it better than others right now. But we'll have to see, in the future how it plays out and how the newer MOBAs are going to sort of tell their stories.
And if they also get any visual upgrades.
Because I'm on board with the league.
Me too.
The league
Big
update.
time.
I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe they'll add more things that make it appeal to you.
They did say that it's still a work in progress, so we'll see where they finish.
Yeah, totally. Let us know which MOBA that you think is the prettiest or the ugliest, even. You can do that on youtube.com/ign-Arena or leave a comment in the on the article page on ign.com. And then our last topic.
Indeed.
Our last topic,
Hit
we
me.
are going to talk about the different game modes in MOBAs, because I'm finding that Dota only has one game mode right now. Well, it doesn't have one game mode. You can play as, random draft or, captain's mode or something like that. But
Sure.
it's all
But
one
it's all
map.
one map.
So what I'm more talking about different maps that you can play in games rather than different modes like that in Dota. And I really feel like Dota is dropping the ball there in a big way, because there's no custom games or anything. They're coming. People are creating these custom games like Pudge Wars on the side, which are really awesome to watch. And
Brian's going to love that.
Oh, well,
If
everyone
everyone's
is
Pudge, it's fine.
Yeah, if everyone's Pudge, it's a
No,
little
it's
bit
not.
different.
It's
Yes, it
gonna be
is.
terrible.
But I mean, custom games were my favorite part of Warcraft 3. It's why it's why I got into playing Dota in the first place. I really liked Angel Arena back in Warcraft 3.
Ties of Blood.
I loved it. So, I mean, the tower defenses like Soldier TD were my favorite. But I mean, those types of things are missing in a lot of MOBAs, but they're not missing in like League of Legends has the best, I would say, and Smite. Yeah, like Smite has a lot of really awesome game modes, and Infinite Crisis has 3. So, I mean, let's just talk about that. And if we think that that's important, because obviously, you know, Dota is the biggest MOBA in the world right now, but it has 1 map. So, do you think that we need these additional game modes?
So here's the most insane thing to me about Dota 2. Last year during Frostivus, they had a new mode with a new map where there was a centralized location, and waves of enemies came in from the outside, and you defended them, and you had to think differently about how you played Dota.
Yeah, that was fun.
Not only because of the new map, but because they modified some hero skills. It was awesome. And presumably, a team of people designed that and spent hundreds of hours making that and fine-tuning it, making sure it worked. And it looked totally different because they changed the aesthetic of the map to be all wintry and icy. And it looked great. And then it went away forever.
Yeah.
It's gone. You can never play it again.
And Dire Tide.
Yeah, what is it? Yes! Oh, God, where you hunt down the little grevelings? Mm-hmm. Yeah, those modes are just gone forever.
That's a great point.
Why?
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Tell me, Brian.
They were linked to
Why did you do that, Brian?
Why did I do this? They were linked to like specific events, like the winter one was like
Christmas.
Skeleton King turned into Wraith King, and like there were bonuses for playing, but like it's, as you're saying, it's still super well designed. Mm-hmm. What I want more, I don't really want other maps. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like Dota is like one map with like infinite, like interchangeable parts, and I'm never going to know them all, and so I'm never tired of it. It's sort of like when Counter-Strike players will play DDoS 2 forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the only map they'll play. But what I do want is after a really stressful game, I want to play something that doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I want. I don't want another thing to try to get really good at.
Yeah, like I don't want another Dota map that is 3 lanes or even is like lanes, towers, ancients. Like I don't want another map that is just the same thing. I loved Frostivus because we got to do the same, like a totally new game mode.
Yeah,
in a new place. It was great.
That's the really appealing thing about like Dominion and ARAM and League of Legends. It's after you play on Summoner's Rift and you know you get really into a game for 40 minutes or something, win or lose. It's like I need a break from this, but I still want to play League of Legends. I'm going to go play a 20-minute Dominion match or ARAM, and that's what I think is definitely appealing about having these side game modes. But I mean, those game modes are fun on their own too. So I really like that there's those options.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are people who play just ARAM or just Dominion. Mm-hmm. Like there's an entire layer of complexity for people to discover there, as opposed to like this incredibly overwhelming, challenging thing of like 3 lanes and all these towers.
And I mean, other games like Heroes of the Storm have 3 different maps where your ultimate objective is still to take down the other person's base, but there's different side objectives in order to get through, you know, in order to help your team or to put the other team at a disadvantage or something like that. And I find that those really make that game a lot different than any other MOBAs that are out right now. And I hope that that's the trend moving forward, and it seems to be that way with some of the upcoming MOBAs that I've played lately. What do you think of different game modes?
Well, it's definitely a plus. Like, it just blows my mind that a game that was founded from a custom map doesn't have custom map support itself.
Yeah.
Like, and Valve is totally the company that should do it because
Workshop, man.
Yes, exactly. Workshop. Half-Life 2 still has modding support to this day. Like, there are games that are mods that are being made into retail games under the support of Valve. So why is a game that was founded from that basis have no modding support whatsoever other than custom skins? It blows my mind.
Like, the items are really great, and that's an amazing thing for Workshop, but why not more? Like, open that up.
Absolutely.
Because the community would go crazy for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the community would just go absolutely nuts, making the new modes for you. Like, Valve doesn't have to do any work here. It's kind of like the Compendium, where they just released this awesome thing, and they soaked in millions of dollars because $250 of it went to the Compendium prize or to the TI4 prize pool.
The other $750.
Yeah, but the other huge chunk of it went straight into Valve's pockets. So I mean, that's really nice of them to, you know, have this increase the prize pool and put on this amazing event that they're going to do. But I mean, it would be nice to have a few more, you know, additions.
Where's the rest of our game in this free game that we don't have to pay anything for at all to play 108 characters?
I don't know. I would like to see more.
I don't know. I agree with you, but I'm also with Brian that there is so much to Dota that I will just never uncover, that I can keep learning and discovering and being surprised by what's there on that one map because of those characters, which, by the way, they keep adding more.
Mm-hmm.
Like the new characters is so much more important to me than new maps.
Yeah, to add on to that, a lot of people will be like, "Hey, why do you play this game so often?" And you know, some games I can be like, "Oh, like I played The Last of Us, and here's this amazing story."
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not getting that from Dota, but like it's
That
okay.
lore, though, that sweet comic book shopkeeper lore.
Read Shadow Fiend's lore sometime. Dota is just like an amazing rule set where almost everything is variable, but like there have to be a few fixed things that never change, and that's why I'm okay with the one map. So I don't care about circle maps. ARAM, like don't care, just don't care. But people do, and that's fine.
Yeah, and when it's there, it's great.
Yeah.
Like I will totally mess around and play with that, but that's not why I play Dota at all.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the coolest map modes that I've seen, and then we'll move on, is the deathmatch mode. It's called Arena, I believe, in Smite, and it's just straight up 5v5. You go in and you fight the other team, and there are like minions that are trying to get from
the
one
elements
end.
are still the same. Push, push, push.
Yeah, there's still like teeny push mechanics, but for the most part, it's just a death match in the center of a circle map. And
Circle, triangle, I don't care, whatever shapes they got, whatever they got.
But
They
I
got
think
all
that's
sorts
really
of shapes.
cool.
They got
Rhombus.
rectangles. They got rhombus.
But I mean, we'll see at least a few new modes entering Dota 2 thanks to the compendium.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's definitely something interesting. It'll be interesting to see what type of maps new upcoming MOBAs have to make in order to appeal to sort of the hardcore Dota fans and people who want, other things. Should they make just one map or should they make multiple maps? I think Arena of Fate, we only saw the one map.
I think they're doing more.
So, yeah, we'll just have to see. But the last thing that I want to bring up today is our thank you to the fans.
This thing we're doing. You promised this, and now you're delivering. I totally
delivering.
forgot.
Yay, I'm the
I was like,
best.
all right, take us out of here. Let's go home.
No. So the last thing I want to mention is just a thank you. We are doing an Orcs Must Die Unchained beta key giveaway.
Yes.
So Mitch, tell us about Orcs Must Die Unchained.
So if you played Orcs Must Die, Orcs Must Die Unchained is the same deal where, it's a co-op game where it is tower defense where you kind of create your own towers. You set traps, spike walls, arrow walls, slime, acid pits.
Like jumper things. What
You
are those
basically
called?
you put things on the ground and on the wall that hurts other characters. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Orcs Must Die 2 had a co-op, and now with Orcs Must Die Unchained, they basically made a MOBA.
It's kind of a MOBA in the sense of Smite, where you're behind your character as a third person.
Yeah, it's just like Orcs Must Die. It's like that third person behind the back, like WoW arena style combat thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've added, this wide variety of characters where everybody can still place traps, but they also have their own individual skills that you can then upgrade and complement based on the waves you're sending out. So, I don't know, I played a character who could buff the ogres, so I would invest in ogres as opposed to another kind of creep wave type. Like, you can modify all sorts of things with your creeps and your skills. It's not a straight MOBA, but it is very similar in a lot of ways, both in terms of the characters and you're pushing into another enemy's base to attack it. If you've played, what is it called, Monday Night Combat, it's kind of similar to that with more aggressive elements because of the traps. The game is rad. We played it at PAX. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
Greg, Damon, and I played, and even Greg and Dan were like, that was like surprisingly great.
Well, if they like it, then our viewers must like it. So, I mean, as a big thank you, we want to say thank you for subscribing to IGN Arena. So, if you do subscribe and comment on this video, we'll be picking some winners at random, and we'll give you guys some codes so that you can play in the closed beta of Orcs Must Die Unchained. So, thank you guys for watching. If you aren't subscribed, please do so. You can do that at youtube.com/IGN Arena, and that will do it for us this week.
Thanks, Leah.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.